Hi, Kate here from the Safeguarding Academy and welcome to this week's 5-minute masterclass. This week we're looking at child protection conferences and we're looking at what a child protection conference is and what happens at the conference and what the outcomes are of a child protection conference. So what is a child protection conference? Well, if you've been watching these masterclasses, you will recall that we've talked about referrals and Section 47 inquiries. And as part of that initial assessment of the Section 47 inquiry, the local authority has to look at what needs to take place in order to safeguard a child's welfare and what further intervention is needed by a local authority, if any, in order to protect that child's welfare. And last week we looked at the child in need process, which is still a formal intervention, but it's a lower level intervention in terms of involvement in a family's life. A child protection conference is called where there is a risk of harm to a child. The risk of harm isn't such that the local authority is looking initially at starting care proceedings, but is one where there requires to be heavy intervention into a family's life in order to protect a child. And so the Child Protection Conference is set up and will be chaired by the independent reviewing officer who will be appointed to look after the welfare needs of that child. At the Child Protection Conference, there will be a whole host of people attending, such as the social worker, social work team manager, parents, health, education, but also police will be involved in that conference. You may have any outside agencies involved, so you could have, if a family's been involved with, for example, Team Around the Child or with a drug intervention agency, then they may be invited to attend. You can have all the other agencies that a family's involved with, perhaps probation, maybe GP as well as any health visitor. You may also have a treating consultant be invited if they are going to be able to contribute towards the child protection plan. And so what happens at these meetings is that they take place in a very formal setting. Everybody who is attending will be asked to provide a report about that particular child and their involvement with the family. And that report will be filed with the independent reviewing officer and is prepared in readiness for the conference and will be shared at the conference. At the conference itself, everybody will have already had or should have already had everybody else's report. So there's likely to be a whole host of reading to be done before the conference. And then the chair will invite everybody who's attending to go through their report and to provide any updates since that report was prepared. Parents will have an opportunity to speak. They have an opportunity to have a solicitor present with them, but that solicitor isn't allowed to become involved in the proceedings. All they can do is take notes and maybe prompt parents, but they're not allowed to intervene on their client's behalf. So don't be afraid if you see a solicitor in a child protection conference. That's all that they can do in that meeting. So once everybody's shared everything, the chair will then look at whether or not a child protection plan is needed. And everybody who's in attendance will be asked for their opinion in terms of whether or not a plan is needed. If the agreement is that a plan is needed, then the team that's there, so everybody in attendance, will set out what they feel needs to be as included as part of this child protection plan. They will also have to say what they are going to do as part of this plan, because you're looking holistically at meeting the needs of this child. And parents will also be there to say whether they think the local authority or other agencies need to do more to assist them. And so at the end of the meeting, everybody should have a very clear idea of, one, that a child protection plan is needed or not, and 2, what the plan says. And that plan will be shared with everybody else and with parents by the social worker. Some agencies will be able to type it up and have it ready for parents to take away with them. Sometimes it will be sent out perhaps a day or 2 later when it's been gathered. But that is a plan that everybody must adhere to, and parents will be left in no doubt at the end of that meeting what they need to do and what is expected of them in terms of meeting the child's welfare needs under that plan. The plan is then reviewed, firstly usually at 3 months and then subsequently at 6 months. And the aim is to get children off child protection plans as quickly as possible. If that's not possible, then a local authority will look at the next level of intervention. But we'll look at that at another masterclass. So for now, thank you very much.